Hey guys, Chris and Michael here from Boxing Brothers Online Coaching. Today we're going to run you through a few of the many components that the peekaboo style of boxing has to offer. I myself, being really short and shorter than all of my opponents all the time, have found that the peekaboo style has been really effective. It doesn't mean that it's limited to short people. You can be tall and still use a peekaboo style as well. But today we're going to be focusing on pressuring our opponents moving forward, getting our head off the centre, and then also maintaining the correct range when you decide to use a peekaboo style. So what we're going to do, I think this is a great opportunity to explain it with our particular heights as well. So against someone like Michael, I would most definitely use this style of boxing. So what you want to establish first is the range. Okay, so if I'm going to be pressuring Michael moving forward, I want to make sure that I'm moving forward at a range that's not going to be at a high risk. So for example, if Michael puts his jab out and I establish that this is the end of his shot, I want to make sure that I kind of slightly peel off that shot, and then I want to be moving at this range, shifting forward. That small adjustment is going to make a huge difference. Okay, so for example, if Michael throws that jab and I'm here, go back to the guard, and if I'm now moving forward trying to implement that peekaboo style, but I'm a little bit too close, even that half an inch, it's going to be really difficult. Whereas if I kind of take that little step back and now I'm moving forward, trying to use that head movement, taking that half step forward as he's moving back, the likeliness of me getting caught with a shot is really low, and then countering is going to be a lot easier. So that's the first thing you want to do. As you're moving forward, make sure you've established your distance and you're just off their shot. Okay? If you're moving forward, getting tagged a lot, it's because you're a little bit too close. The next thing is the head movement. You don't want to be moving your head off every single shot. So for example, if Michael's moving back throwing punches, I'm going to catch a couple on the guard. Make sure with this style you've got the high guard, okay? Especially if he's a tall guy, because he's going to be punching down on you. Having that low guard puts me at risk of copping shots on the forehead. Having the high guard with the chin down eliminates that chance, okay? So as I'm moving forward, I'm not going to slip every single shot, okay? I'm going to catch some on the guard, I might parry some, all right? And then the ones that I feel confident with, I'm going to slip, okay? Which leads me on to the next most important component. You want to make sure that when you are evading, you want to be taking that step forward and covering the distance on the evasion to put yourself in a position so that you can counter and throw punches in range. Okay? So as Michael throws a shot, I'm stepping forward on the evasion. Okay? As he's throwing that shot, I'm stepping forward on the evasion. Irrespective to whether I'm going straight down to the right or to the left, I want to be covering the distance on the evasion, okay? So I'm catching those shots, and then eventually, when I decide to evade, I'm going to cover the distance. The reason why you cover the distance on the evasion is so that you're in range for the counter, okay? I don't want to be covering the range on the punches. You can do it, but it is a lot more exertion and it is at a higher risk, okay? So if I cover the distance on the evasion, when Michael goes back to his guard, I'm in a position to counter, because I've covered the distance on the slip, okay? Whereas if I'm moving forward and then I stop to slip and then he goes back to his guard, I have to cover the distance on the shots. Again, nothing majorly wrong with that. That's a good tool to have as well. But essentially, you want to be covering the distance on the slip so that you can counter, okay? So with this exercise, the best way to kind of drill this routine is to have two major progressions. You're going to have one person moving back, throwing straight punches to the opponent, the other person moving forward with a chin down, high guard, catching the shots and evading them essentially. Not all the time, just essentially. The second progression for this drill is to implement the counters, okay? One really important component that you want to maintain when it comes to implementing the counter is not all of a sudden changing the way that you evade the shot. So if Michael's throwing that shot and when I evade it without the counter, I'm getting my head off the centre nice and relaxed, nice and cool, nice and groovy. And then all of a sudden when I want to counter, I'm doing a fast, different, changing kind of the style that I do the slip. All of a sudden, to counter, I'm going to give it away. So you want to be as nonchalant as you possibly can when you're evading the shots. And then when you do decide to counter, bang, 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 they're not going to expect it. Because the slip that you wanted to counter up is exactly like all the other slips that you did leading up to it.